Hey, Janice. Have you been doing all right with your husband recently? Huh? You haven't been getting the cold shoulder or anything from your husband these days? Like when you try to talk to him, he just ignores you, or when you invite him out, he says no? You haven't noticed anything like that happening between the two of you lately? Why are you asking me all of this all of a sudden? It's very rare that I ever get a text or call from you, Isabel. And having you ask about my husband is even stranger. Are you sure you're not confusing me with another woman named Janice or anything? I'm sorry, Janice. I don't think I know anyone else with the name Janice besides you. I just wanted to talk to you about something that I think might be bothering you lately. The reason that Jerry has been so cold to you lately is because of me. Right now, I'm going out with your husband. And all this started a couple of months ago, and we've been going strong together. Uh-huh. Haven't you noticed that for the past few months, Jerry's been going on business trips a whole lot of more frequently? In reality, he's only been coming over to my place so that we can go out together. I'm sorry, I happened to get a hold of the man you love. But you should have known that I'd be coming back one day to get what you took from me. Wait a second, you're going out with Jerry? You and him are really dating now? I have no reason to be joking with you about this. The man you had been so happily married to is now in my hands, but that's bound to happen since you've always been in my shadow ever since the two of us were in school together. When I first heard that you had gotten married to a CEO, I really felt that. There's no way a man like that should be wasting away with a low-life scum like you. So I'm sorry to say this, but let me have your husband now. Huh? The spot you have next to your husband and that beautiful penthouse you live in with him are now mine. It's about time that I'm the one who won Jerry to my side. If you understand everything I've told you, I'd like it you got out from that penthouse right now. But him and I have been divorced for over 3 years now. Huh? Well, Jerry and I got divorced years ago. I never got around to letting everyone know about it or post it on social media, so I'd assume you never knew anything about this. Divorce? And 3 years ago? Yeah, surprise, I guess. Why are you telling me a bunch of bull crap right now? Do you think that telling me these crazy lies is gonna let me leave your husband alone? What? That wasn't a lie. Everything I said is very true. There's no way, Janice. I can see on that man that he has a wedding ring on his ring finger. Why would he still be wearing that if he was divorced? Come on, do you really think that I'm stupid enough to fall for your lies and will leave you alone? Please, I know all of this hurts to hear from me, but I'd never joke or lie to you about the man I love. I'm sorry, but I'll pass on believing you. You're wrong though, Isabel. I'm telling the truth when I say that him and I are no longer married. We divorced 3 years ago over some things that I'd like to sort of keep private. If you'd really like me to believe that you and him are no longer a thing, then show me by divorcing him right now. I'd like for him and I to get married really soon, so hurry up and get those divorce papers. When I've seen that you've signed the papers, then I'll trust everything you said. Hey Jerry, I heard that during the time we've been divorced, you've started going out with one of my good old friends from back in the day. I don't care who you choose to date now, that we're no longer a thing, but can you please make sure to explain everything to her before she comes to me spewing misinformation?
What? Since when did you learn that Isabel and I have started dating?
I got a few texts from Isabel about it. She seems to think that you and I are still married to each other. She told me that she's stolen you from me, so I have to divorce you now.
What?
She thinks that you and I are still married to one another, and that she's done a great job stealing you from me. I already know that she's a bit of a nut, but you have to do a better job at clearing things up when you talk to her. You and I divorced years ago, and you're still wearing the wedding ring. To her, she thinks that was a good enough piece of evidence to use as her reason for you and I still being together.
You're kidding me. What the heck? Isabel really went and started talking to you again? Well, I'm just glad that she started talking to you, which leaves me in the clear. If she started talking to my wife, I'd be in huge trouble.
Huh? What do you mean by your wife?
Ah, now that I think about it, I never got around to telling you. I actually got remarried to another woman. I think her and I filled out the paperwork about a year after we got divorced.
Seriously? Then why are you going out with Isabel now?
If you just put a little thought into it, you'd probably get your answer. I'm only with Isabel for the ride.
Huh?
But if she were to seriously start talking to my real wife about her being with me, I'm so glad that she thinks that you and I are still married. It really helps me out a ton. Just thinking that she might have started to talk with my current wife, God, does it make me feel sick.
Jerry, you still haven't gotten over your urge to cheat? The whole reason you and I split was due to you cheating on me before. Now you're with another woman? And you're even cheating on her?
Well, it can't be helped, can it? I'm just the kind of man that's into these sort of relationships. I have the ability to literally get any woman to come my way. Even those within my company.
Huh?
But when it comes to someone like Isabel, she's far better than the rest. That's why I really enjoy using her as my toy right now, and I'm sure that Isabel has the same intentions with me. But perhaps I should start being more serious with her.
Don't say such awful things, Jerry. You have a wife right now, so I want you and Isabel to leave each other, please. I thought it was already enough having you sleeping with another woman while we were married, but for you to do it again to another woman again? You went through all the trouble of getting remarried, so you should take better care of her as your wife.
And I am taking great care of her, but the relationship I have with her and the one I have with Isabel are both very different. And besides, if I started to only focus on my wife and nobody else, what would all the other women that want to sleep with me think?
Huh?
Well, for the time being, I'm sorry that Isabel went and got you involved in this. I'll make sure from now on to tell Isabel about the reality of us two, okay?
The fact the whole reason you and I got divorced was due to you cheating, and yet here you are again, doing the same thing to your current wife. I'm just glad I got rid of you when I did.
You saying things like that must mean you still care a little bit about me, right? If that happens to be the case, do you want to try getting back together with me? I wouldn't mind having myself another wife to cheat on.
Don't start making fun of me, Jerry. Because of everything you did, the memories I have of you are all very depressing. So if I'm ever to get married to another man, I'll make sure he has no intentions of ever seeing another woman. I'd never once think about getting back together with a jerk like you.
But it was because you married a jerk like me that you were able to live in a penthouse with a huge CEO. Are you sure you're not missing the life you had with me? And that's why you want to get back together? You can't tell me the truth, Janice.
Excuse me?
If you'd like to get back together, you can message me anytime. Now, I'm heading out.
Starting today, I'll be living in the penthouse. I heard that you had no desire of leaving this place, and so you had to be tossed out. Huh? I was told by Jerry that you didn't even want to divorce him yet. So while you're still around, he said the two of us can't get married yet, but we can still live together. It's all because you just couldn't let go of him, and I now have to wait longer to be with my man. I'm just glad he was able to get you out of the penthouse. You're lying, right? Wait, are you telling me that you've seriously started moving into someone else's house already? Someone else's house? What the heck does that mean? Today, this place is going to become Jerry and my place to make love. I was actually a bit worried that it'd take him a long time to get me in, so I made a duplicate key for the place that I'll be using. What? So this means that you haven't even really talked to Jerry yet about going and staying in his penthouse? Well, when you put it that way, I suppose so, but I know that he'll be fine with it. After all, he loves me and wants to marry me as soon as he can. That's the kind of cute love the two of us share, unlike you. I don't think there's anything cute about your guys' love. What? The only thing that's not cute here is the fact that you still haven't divorced him even after being kicked out of the house. I keep telling you to hurry up and leave my man, yet you do nothing. I have no other choice but to toss all of your things out of here as well. Now that all your things are gone, there's nothing reminding him of you here, so you really do have nothing better to do than divorce him. You threw out all those things? I did. Every last thing is gone now. I was able to get someone to come here and take care of it all. I could definitely see that you had a lot of nice things since you've been the wifey of a wealthy CEO. I bet if I sold a lot of that online, I could have made thousands and thousands of all of it. All of your things were very luxury brands, so you must have had it all made out for you here. You're lying about all that, right? Doing that to someone else's things? But I told you that starting today, I'd be the one getting to live this luxurious life with Jerry, and so all of those things were technically mine. So this all means that you're never going to come back to this penthouse ever again, right? This'll be the place that Jerry and I can start making a family together. A woman that's no longer loved by him is only getting in the way now. Isabel, I want you to go out and get all of those things you just threw out. If you don't do any of that soon, I'm sure that his wife is going to call the police on you. Huh? His wife? That's you, right? Do you really think that it's a good idea to call the police on me over this? All I did was get rid of the little roadblock that was in my way of taking my seat next to my CEO. I never did one thing that was a crime. You went ahead and vandalized someone else's things. You took all her things and broke them down and threw them out, right? And the fact that the person that threw those all out is the person her husband is sleeping with. I don't think you'll be able to hide all of this from Jerry's wife now. Huh? Why do you keep saying his wife like she's not you? And I told you all of this before, right? Him and I have been divorced for 3 years now. And then after that, Jerry ended up getting married to another woman. And that penthouse is the place where Jerry and his current wife live. Huh? But that was the lie you made to try and get me to leave you alone, right? You really are divorced? We are. I wasn't able to deal with Jerry cheating on me anymore. And so the two of us got divorced. Actually, while we had been married to each other, he was sleeping with all kinds of women. I knew about that for a little while, but I just couldn't stand to be with him any longer and had the two of us divorce. What? But to hear that he got married, when I first heard that from him, I had to look into them myself. And he really did happen to get married to a very well-off lady. And I know you've heard of him, that's his penthouse and all, but I think that the two of you are going to be kicked out of there once his wife finds out. Huh? You're lying. This penthouse is Jerry's, right? And I never even knew that he ended up marrying a really wealthy woman. And when I learned about all of this, I was surprised as well. I never thought there would be anyone willing to marry the CEO of a company that was about to go bankrupt. And even crazier is that she actually has loads of money. What do you mean by his company going bankrupt? There's actually one other reason him and I got divorced. When I had first heard he was cheating on me, I really had no clue of who he was sleeping with behind my back. And at that time, I was already upset at just knowing that he was cheating on me, and that was enough for me to start thinking about divorce. However, it turned out that he was sleeping with other employees within his company, and soon they started to speak up about it. That's of course when I lost it and chose to leave him, because I just could not deal with his crap any longer. His company began to go downhill, and it was only a matter of time before he'd have to either leave the company or go down with the ship. So the two reasons I left Jerry were because of his cheating and the fact that I couldn't see him saving the company from the image he gave it. Huh? That's the whole reason I thought after our divorce, that company and him would go under, but to learn that he'd get remarried and that his company would stand back up really shocked me. I'm sure that his current wife was willing to help his company out by handing him a large amount of money. Are you serious? Now I don't want to say anything more, so you should really go and get all his wife's things before she comes back. I really don't think that even in the case that Jerry got kicked out by his wife, he'd turn to you become his next woman anyway. He told me before that he only views you as a hit toy for pleasure. And since you're not the brightest woman in the world, I think he'll have no other choice but to toss you aside. Then there's no way he'd do something like that to me. He's told me so many times before that he loves me. He even told me that one day he wants to make me his new wife and everything. So why would he be saying that if he has another wife with a lot of more money than me sitting by his side? If he loves me as much as he says he does, then I should be the one he wants to marry, right? Well, then why don't you just prepare yourself and wait in that penthouse to see what all goes down? Then you'll be able to learn firsthand the truth behind of all this. But to be honest, I don't even know what will really happen, nor do I care. What am I gonna do, Janice? I was just told by Jerry that he wants me to leave him. I had been waiting all day for him to come home to here, right? But him and that wife of his walked through the door with their hands held tight, and they both looked like they were having a ton of fun together, him and I together right now, and yet he went out on a fun date with his wife? That can't happen. Whoa, so it seems he's having a better relationship with his own wife than with a toy. And then when I went up to him to ask him to marry me, he responded by saying that he wanted to know how an ugly woman like myself got into this house. And then he went and kicked me out of the house with the help of his wife. He then turned to her saying that I'm only one of his toys and that she was nothing to worry about. He didn't even make an eye contact with me as he told his wife that. So that must go to the show that Jerry really does love his wife more than you, huh? And then his wife told me that I would need to pay her a settlement as well as repay her for all the things I threw out. That all comes out to be $200,000 and she wants it paid in cash. $200,000 paid in cash? That's quite a large amount of money, huh? Right? There's no way this could ever happen, right? But then his wife told me that if I couldn't hand over the money right then, she'd call the police on me. And that's when Jerry said he doesn't care what she does about me. Well, I mean, when you looked online, you saw that a lot of those branded items all went for thousands of dollars, right? And you went ahead and vandalized and technically stole all of that and more. And when it comes to the settlement she's asking for, I'd assume she wants a lot of money from you for cheating. But that much? I don't have that kind of money, especially not in cash. Hey, Janice, what should I do here? You should be willing to help me since I'm your friend. No way. I don't even want to deal with you. Huh? I know that all this turned out to be a huge misunderstanding for you, but you thought you knew that he was my husband and still started going out with him anyway, right? You pretty much said it yourself. You stole my husband from me, right? Do you really think I want to help someone that's done that? I get that and all, but this all turned out to be a misunderstanding, right? And so I never actually stole anything from you, so you should be fine with helping me. I really am asking you right now to please help me. If you're looking for someone to help you pay off that money, why not ask Jerry to help you? After all, he's the man that got you into all this mess, right? And now I'm going to leave. I have nothing to do with your guys' drama, so please, don't drag me into this any further. What?
Why is this happening to me? It's all because of your friend that my life is coming to an end. My wife is asking for me to divorce her, and then she wants to kick me out of this place. And now she's not even going to be around to help me with my company anymore. Why the hell is this happening to someone like me?
Ah, I see. So you're also going through some tough stuff now. Well, no matter what you tell me, I have nothing to do with you guys.
Huh? But this is all because of that friend of yours. Yet you are still trying to say that you have nothing to do with this.
Before you start saying that she's a friend of mine, remember that you are the one that started sleeping with her. You knew about her being my friend, yet you still did it anyway. So stop trying to blame this on me, when I haven't even been around for you 3 years from now.
Shut the hell up! You keep saying it like I care about her, but all she was to me was a toy. Yet, she thought she had the right to sneak into my penthouse like that. It's all because of her that my life has turned upside down.
Don't try to act like you're not to blame for all of this. You have a wife with you and yet you still decided to go out with another woman. And of course, it turned out that your wife was the one helping keep your company out of going bankrupt. Yet even with all the help you got from her, you decided it would be fantastic to start cheating again. It's funny that you weren't ever embarrassed to admit all of that to me.
Shut the frick up!
Do you think this is all okay for a CEO to do? You said after all those women around you, you want to play with you, right? But having all of them around you was due to your wife being so generous and loving towards you, right? Yet, you thought it was all because of you that you had a selection of women to choose from, and that's why you started cheating again. That's really something to be ashamed of, you whore.
Did you not hear me when I said for you to shut up? I'm not going to forgive you for calling me out like this.
Oh my, you're starting to scare me now. Well, if you don't want me calling you out and making fun of you, maybe try putting your phone down and quit texting me. I mean, if you have the time to sit here and blame everyone but yourself, then why not use that time to try and fix your company? You're going to lose your wife's financial support, so your company will sink for sure.
Crap. Unlike you, I thought that my wife would be understanding of everything. Yet now she's trying to take me down for only having a little fun with some other women. I really thought that because of all the money she has, I'd be able to get away with all of this and never have her find any of this out. Yet she's now threatening me with divorce after your friend decided to break into our house.
So you only married her for the money and to keep things hidden again? Seems you really need to learn your place, and the only way that will happen is that if you learn through pain and suffering. I'm sure there's something I could do about this.
Huh? What? What do you plan to do?
Do you know what kind of connection there is to my friend being the same person you ended up cheating with? I think I can tell your wife all sorts of things about the two of you now.
What? Wait. Please, don't do something that you're going to regret. If she finds out even more things about me being with Isabel while married to her and the past we had together, I'll literally be in hell.
And it's because you went and did all this crap that I think I'll have to talk to her. Now I have someone I need to talk to, so I'll be going. Isabel tried her best getting down on her hands and knees to try and apologize to Jerry's wife, but she didn't budge one bit and continued to ask her for that money. So then, Isabel went and sold a bunch of her own things, as well as borrowed some money from a loan shark to get enough to pay Jerry's wife in cash. And now, because of the terrible debt she's gotten herself into, she's working all day and all night to make any money she can. And as for Jerry himself, he did end up getting told by his wife to leave her. And in the divorce, she'd also be asking for a settlement from him too. And to help make sure she was successful in all this, I helped her out by sending her all the information I knew about Jerry and Isabel, and she was able to gather enough evidence from that. There were also some messages between Jerry and Isabel regarding his wife, like him calling her a wealthy idiot, and that he only needed her for his company, which of course all led to her asking for a very large amount of money from him as well. So to pay off the money he owed his now ex-wife, Jerry was forced to close his company and sell whatever he could to afford to pay off the settlement. And now that he's met his true fate of losing his company and all his money, he's now working the night shift as a male escort, trying to relive the life of having women asking him to be around.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.
We are not going to help you with anything. I want you to handle everything that has to do with your husband yourself, Andrea. Please stop thinking that just because I'm married to your oldest son, that we have to help you with everything. What? Ashley? I heard from Ruben already. You asked him to go and help out with his father while he's in the hospital. That is something you can handle all on your own, so don't be asking my husband to go there and help you. Just because he's your child does not make him your slave.
That's not at all how I think of my children. I was just told by the doctor that my husband will be in the hospital for some time now, and considering that the new hospital is much closer to your guys' house than it is to mine, I thought it would be better to ask Ruben for the help. I was never meaning for that to seem as though I'd be making him handle everything for me.
I wonder about that. I'm sure the moment he started to help out, you'd begin complaining about your knees or something and make him do everything. You can't handle all that simple work because you're so lazy, so you just make my husband and I do all the work.
Well, that was never my intention though, Ashley.
Anyway, my family will not be helping you with anything, especially since Ruben has become a lot more busy at work recently. He never has any time during the week to catch a break, so he really has to have his weekends to himself or he'll begin to fall apart. We have to have Saturday and Sunday in order to spend some time together or else I'm going to go mad. So don't expect that either of us will be using our time to come out and help you.
That's why I never said he had to come out every week. I just asked that around once a month would be good enough and a huge help for me. And since Ruben is his son as well, my husband would be very happy to see him. It would be nice to have our son come out to the hospital and see his dad while he's going through his treatments.
If I've already said that it's going to be impossible, please stop talking about it. If your husband really wants to see his son's face, then have him look at some pictures. That should keep him happy, right?
Then, at the very least, can you help out? I heard about this from Ruben already, but earlier this year you quit your part-time job, right? If you have all that time on your hands now, it would really be generous of you to come out and help a little every so often. Really, I just need you to go into the hospital once or twice a month to see your father-in-law and listen to what the doctors and nurses have to say about him.
Huh? And why should I have to come and help you? I'm not your guys' actual daughter. You have no right asking a complete stranger to come and help you out like that.
But you keep telling me that my actual son isn't allowed to come and help us.
No frickin' way. This is the exact reason why I hate you so much. If my son isn't going to help out, then I'll ask my daughter-in-law to do it. I really missed out on getting myself a proper mother-in-law, didn't I?
Excuse me?
Just know that no matter what you try and say, we're not coming to help you and your husband. When the husband is in trouble, it's his wife's job to go help. Your husband was kind enough to keep you around all this time, so you go ahead and take care of him and his recovery all by yourself.
Yo, Mom, what is going on here? I was listening to all the voicemails that were left for me, and there was one from you. Did you really end up putting Dad into an old folks' home?
Yes, I really did. Dad is out of the hospital and all now, but he doesn't have any strength and still requires a lot of attention. The hospital told me he'd never be able to walk on his own again and would need to live in a wheelchair now. So I had a talk with some of the faculty at the hospital about what my options were, and they said the best thing to do was put him into an old folks' home.
No way, Mom. So Dad's really going to a home now?
Had you and Ashley been able to come over and help from time to time, then I would have thought a bit more about keeping him here at home. But you both are too busy to come and help, right? And since I'm getting old myself, it's becoming too much for me to have to carry him around and do everything in the house. So because of that, I'm really sorry, but your dad has to stay in that home. I hope you can understand where I'm coming from here. I'll make sure to handle all the paperwork and bills for the old folks' home, so don't you worry about that.
Wait. You can't do that to him, Mom. There is no way you could just put Dad into a facility like that now. Stop trying to be so selfish now and stay home with Dad and take care of him yourself.
Excuse me?
Do you have any idea how much it'll cost to have Dad put into one of these homes? That would be a waste of good money. If you just get off your butt and take care of him at home, then it won't cost a penny.
If you're worried about money, don't be. Both your dad and I have made sure to save up a lot of money throughout the years for things like this. I have the money to put him up for a few years there.
What are you talking about? All that money you and Dad worked so hard for to save up is supposed to go to us after you've both gone. And considering you both never really had that great of jobs, you can't have all that much money saved up, right? Yet, do you want to use whatever you have left sending Dad away like that? You'd only be wasting Ashley's and my inheritance that way.
Excuse me, Ruben, what the actual hell do you think you're talking about right now? Who the hell do you think you are to worry about your inheritance at a time like this? None of this money your dad and I have is yours, so don't you dare speak to me like that again, you idiot!
You're the freaking idiot, Mom. Using that money which should be ours on someone else like Dad? You were totally healthy, Mom, so stop being so lazy and help care for your husband. No way am I going to let you put Dad into a home like that just because you want to relax and have all that time to yourself. You have no right sending the man you spent so many years married to away like that.
It's because he and I have been happily married for this long that I want him to have a better life there than here. I would feel much more happy with my husband going into that home and being cared for by professionals than having him here all alone with just me. Do you have another plan that you care to share with me? Would you and your wife be willing to actually leave that house of yours and come out to help the family for once?
You know we can't be asked to do that. I'm busy with work right now and Ashley shouldn't have to care for Dad. I'm just asking that you get off your butt and take care of Dad yourself is all. I will not allow you to put my dad into one of those expensive old folks' homes.
Jesus Christ, Reuben.
Now, you take care of my old man, and you make sure to take good care of him for Ashley and myself as well.
Ashley, what the hell is all of this about now? There are just these huge boxes addressed from you showing up at my house now. I tried calling Reuben about all of this, but he won't answer me.
Oh, so all our things are already showing up there. Well, can you make sure to put all those boxes in the living room for us?
Answer my frickin' question, Ashley. What the hell are all these boxes doing at my house? I have a funeral to get to today for my husband, so tell me why I have all these boxes dropped off at my house.
What? The funeral is supposed to be today? Well, then, can you make sure to have all those boxes moved up to the second floor for us? Both Reuben and I feel that with this chance, we're finally going to move back into that house now.
What? You're moving into my house?
We never thought that your husband would end up kicking that can so quickly. And it's not fair to have only you living in that massive house all by yourself now, right? Therefore, Reuben and I had a little discussion about it, and that's where we decided that we'd use this chance to move into that house with you.
So, in other words, you guys are invading my house now? I never thought that the two of you would be so kind as to move in with me. I'm actually really happy to hear this wonderful news from you.
You shouldn't be, because we're not actually going to be living there with you. Are you kidding me? You actually think the both of us would move into that house with the intentions of living with you?
But you both are going to be moving into this house with me now, right?
Correct, but not with you living there as well. So please hurry up and get out of there once you have all of our things carried in, Andrea. From now on, it will be Reuben and I that are living in that house as just the two of us.
Excuse me?
But I truly did forget that today was the day of your husband's funeral. I was thinking today would be the perfect day to move in. I guess since it'll be too much of a pain in the butt for us to come there today, we'll be moving in tomorrow instead.
You hold it right there, Ashley. Are you really trying to kick me out of my own house right now so that you and my son can live here without me? The fact that you'd even think about kicking out an old woman like me, when Reuben hears about this, he'll be pissed.
You think so? I'm not sure why he'd be pissed off when he was the one that said this plan was okay. Actually, this was his plan in the first place, Andrea.
What?
We had actually been wondering if we should have a new house built for us or not. But around this part of town, the land is all really expensive to buy, and there was no chance of us affording it. However, as we were starting to give up on the idea of getting a new house built, Reuben's dad died. He then said we could go and get your guys' old house and renovate it into something brand new and modern. So we've both agreed that we'll be taking your house now and putting some elbow grease into it and making it look brand new and amazing.
There's no way Reuben would say that.
So, now that you're aware of everything, I'd like you to get all of your things together after the funeral and get lost. We would really like to get started on all the renovations soon.
Even if you're asking me to leave, where am I supposed to go? I'm too old now to be finding myself a new house on my own. Can't you both at least find me a place to move to before you come and take this house?
Huh? We don't care what happens to you after this. Just go and find yourself a room at an old folks' home or something.
Excuse me?
It's probably really difficult for a single woman your age to find an apartment that will accept you, right? So I guess the only option you have left is an assisted living home. Then we won't have to worry about you ever again.
What the hell, Ashley? You both were telling me the whole time before that I couldn't put my husband into a home like that because it would cost way too much money. Yet when it benefits the both of you, you're all open to having me put in one?
Back then, neither Reuben or I knew a lot about those kinds of places. But recently, we had a look at some of the cheaper homes, and man, are they cheap. If you put yourself in one of those old and run-down homes out in the middle of nowhere, it should only cost around $500 a month. So if you can go to one of those places, please do.
So, you're just fine throwing me into one of those old places without even thinking about letting me stay somewhere new and comfortable? You both aren't going to make me pay for wherever I go, right? You're going to pay for the home so that I no longer have to live here, right? Huh? Why would either of us be paying for you to go into one of those homes? Go ahead and do your best to pay for one of those places using your Social Security and as little of your savings as possible, please. Neither Reuben or myself are going to give you a single penny. Well, I'll be. I'm sure in your state you'll only be around a little while longer, right? So you shouldn't have any problems with leaving this house now and finding a rundown home to go live in, right? Now, you'd better hurry up and find yourself one of those super cheap old folks' homes before the day is over. From now on, that massive house of yours will be Reuben's and mine. Get out of our way now, you old dying hag. I'll give you all I have then. Oh, come on now. You're really going to give us all that money your husband left you and whatever you had yourself as well? What's happened to you, Andrea? I've had enough of the both of you, and I mean that with all my heart. Today's the day of the funeral of my dear husband, and I didn't expect either of you to come at all to see him buried. But then these boxes all started to show up to my house with your guys' names on them, saying you're taking my house now. Now that I've finally been driven up the wall by you two, I'm taking this house and all my money and giving it to you. Will that be enough to get you both to leave me alone forever? If you can promise me that, then I'll make sure to give you both everything that was in my husband's will and the house. That's a deal. Then once this funeral is all over with, I'll grab what little I have and be gone. Now you both enjoy the trashed estate that I'm leaving behind for you. This is all coming from my husband's will for you both, so please take that as something very special. What? What do you mean by trashed estate? Oh, I'm sorry, but there will be a lot of people coming soon for my husband's funeral. I'll have to be going now. Please excuse me. Hey, Andrea, what the heck is wrong with this whole house? The whole second floor is filled with trash and smells like rotting sewage. Hey, don't be saying all that about the house, all right? This has all been left for you two by your late father, and it should be respected for that very reason. You both asked to have the place, so please talk about it in a more fitting manner. Huh? How the hell is this house supposed to be respected as a gift from your husband? All the awnings in this house are broken, and the chairs in the house are all trashed with tears in them. And the dining table is so old that it looks like there's mold growing in the wood. What the actual hell happened to this place, especially the second floor? That's the house your father-in-law left for you two. Just before he passed away, he was collecting all these old and useless things and putting them upstairs. Things like those old dishes and the umbrellas, all those old clothes, the broken machines and electronics. And what was even more interesting is that even though he was bound to a wheelchair, late at night he'd leave the house and go off somewhere. What? Just in the middle of the night, he'd leave the house and wander off. After being discharged from the hospital, his head really went downhill and he became very senile. He would leave the house all night and come back in the early morning with all that junk and have me take it upstairs for him. To him, though, he thought of all of those things as presents for me that he'd gone out and bought. He thought all of this garbage was presents for you? When he was younger, he'd always come home with small little gifts for me. He was always thankful for the work I did caring for the house and the kids, so he'd bring me flowers and cake and other little treats to make up for all that. So considering the fact that he was so senile and was probably just thinking about how things were in the past with getting me all those presents, I couldn't throw any of it away. So I did as he said and took it all upstairs and dumped it in the rooms. I had tried just one time to try and toss some of that junk, but when he saw me taking it to the trash, he freaked out and started to ask why I didn't love him anymore. That's why all that junk stayed up there and never got thrown away. So that's why you told us to enjoy this trashed estate? We can't even get to half of the second floor because there's all this mounds of junk laying around. Well, if you just close some of the doors up there and leave it all be, you shouldn't notice any of the stench. I was planning on having all that junk cleaned out by professionals after my husband passed away so that I wouldn't hurt his feelings any. But both you and my son really wanted that house from me so badly, I had no other choice but to hand it to you both as part of my son's inheritance. That was a huge help, though, doing that for me.
Are you kidding me right now? You do something about all this trash right now. Why do Ruben and I have to be the ones to clean up your husband's mess now?
I told you that I'd be giving you guys everything that my husband left behind, right? In other words, all that he left behind was that house and its junk. Which makes all of it your guys' junk now. So you both please clean it up yourselves. I'd gotten in touch with some professional cleaners before the funeral to ask about how much it cost to clean out that place, and they told me around $15,000.
15,000? That's the amount it cost to clean this whole house for us?
There would be a lot of things they'd need to go through and clean, and a lot of machinery would need to be used as well. There also doesn't happen to be a whole lot of professional cleaners in this city. Out of the 3 companies I asked, they were all saying it cost around that much to get the job done.
You have to be kidding me.
Oh, but you both have already kicked me out of there, so you can go ahead and do whatever you please with the place. Just remember that that's what he inherited from his dad, so he should treat it with some form of respect.
Shut the hell up about that, Andrea. The only option we have now is to throw all of this away. What the hell were you thinking? You told us you'd be giving us everything you had before leaving. We thought we'd be getting more money and things like that from you that you got from your husband. We don't want this trash anymore, so just give us some money. You have to still have something that you're hiding from us, right?
I'm sorry to tell you this, but there's nothing else that I'm hiding. What my husband left behind was that house and whatever junk is inside it.
What are you talking about? Back when you said you wanted to put him in an old folks' home, you said there was more than enough money to do so. But then we both asked that you take care of your husband at home and not waste all that money on putting him in a home, right? You saved all that money by not having to send him away, so that should all be coming to us now, right?
Well, I suppose I did save money by not having to put my husband in a home, but that money was going to be coming from my own savings account. My husband never had the money to put himself into one of those homes for very long.
What? What are you talking about right now, Andrea? What's going on here?
To be honest, he was never really that good at saving money as I was. He was the one paying for the house and all the food and bills, which made me very happy. But with the rest of that money, he'd spend it on presents for me and on himself, never bothering to put any of it away. Well, that's why the only savings he and I ever had came from the money I made working part-time. And since it was all being saved up by me, I became the sole holder of that account.
No way!
So, really, the only things that my husband had in his will was the house, all the junk in it, and a couple $100 he had left over. I think the things you both have been hoping for all this time is the money that I currently hold.
You're lying. So this old house and all the garbage in it is all we're able to get from him? We at least wanted enough money in order to pay off some of our debt.
Now, I have some things to get back to, Ashley. I'll never be going back to that dump anymore, so go ahead and do whatever you want with it.
Hey, Mom. We will take care of all of that trash that's been piling up on the second floor. We'll even pay for the cleaners to come in and take care of the deeper and more hard-to-get stuff. So please, can you come back here and live with us from now on?
Huh? You really think I want to talk to you again after the way you behaved a while back? Weren't you both so excited to kick me out of the house and take all the things your dad left behind for you?
We had planned to really enjoy this house, but the money to get it renovated, I had thought that Dad would have had some money to give me as well in the will. But, he honestly has no money for me, does he?
What? What was that?
Well, look, you took care of Dad his last few months in the house, right? I thought that since you didn't have to waste all the money on sending him into an old folks home, that money would be coming to me. That was how I convinced Ashley into moving here, because we both thought we could renovate the place without spending a dime.
So you were serious about wanting your dad's money that badly? I'm sure you've heard part of this from your wife, but there is nothing left in your dad's accounts. You both do your best to save up what you can and use that money.
We don't even have any savings ourselves, though. I'm still hiding all of this from Ashley, but at the beginning of this year, the company I worked for went and restructured everything. Because of that, we seriously have nothing in our accounts.
What? The company went through layoffs, is what you're saying?
Things weren't going so good with the last CEO, so he was kicked out and a new person came in who wanted lots of change. And for the longest time now, I've been in charge of making all the money that goes into our savings. So I went and took little by little out of what we did have saved up and claimed that that was my paycheck every month.
I can't believe that's the way you went through all your savings.
There was all the bills for things like our health insurance, car insurance, and so much more. But before all of this happened, I had been talking with Ashley about us getting our new house built. However, over time, I couldn't afford something like that anymore, so I brought up the idea that we could get my dad's house and renovate that. And then I'd be able to hide the fact that I didn't have any real money coming in anymore.
And that's when you found out the house you got was in tatters, right? And you don't even have the money to pay for the place to be renovated either, right? You've gone through all the savings you had trying to hide the fact that you have been unemployed this whole time. So this is all what's been going on with you?
Please, Mom. I get that Dad didn't have much money when he passed, but you have to still have a bit, right? I'll let you come back and live with us as long as you pay for the house to be renovated for us. I'll make sure to get Ashley to help me, and we can save up enough money to hire some cleaners to come in and do a deep clean. And I'll make sure to tell her to be more kind to you from now on.
No thank you, Reuben. I'm doing just as I was told and going into a retirement home. Actually, I've already found myself a place to stay and I'm doing all the paperwork right now.
What? You're already working on the paperwork?
Back when I was looking for a place for your dad, I also started to look around a little for myself. The people at the hospital were also a bit worried about the fact that not even my own son cared to help his parents any and gave me some good recommendations. I was able to care for Dad outside the hospital, but they were wondering what would happen to me after. And the place they recommended is so amazing.
Mom, come on now. You don't have to put yourself in a place as lonely as an old folks' home. I'm sure that you'll need help with some things soon, so you can rely on Ashley and myself for that. So please, come back here and live with us. And please use some of your savings to help us.
No way in hell, Reuben. No way in hell. I'm really looking forward to all the new people I'll be meeting at this place. I'll be able to chat with all of them about their lives and talk about the lovely life I had with your father. And neither my selfish son or his brainless wife will get in the way of that.
No way.
Now, you and Ashley have a great time living in that nasty house. I'm no longer going to associate myself with you two, so bye-bye. I was able to get right into the retirement home I was hoping for after I finished talking to Reuben. Both Reuben and his wife really wanted to know where I went, and so they both charged into the hospital my husband was at before demanding to know where I was. But before they could cause too much trouble, the nurses called the police and they were both taken out of the hospital. And as the two tried to wrestle themselves away from the police, they could hear all the nurses inside calling them morons and saying that they can't cry for their parents' help only when it benefits them. Soon after that, Ashley learned about how Reuben had lost his job almost a whole year ago, and that he was using all their savings to try and cover that up. She was so shocked by what she had heard, she couldn't even talk to her husband for days. Things for them only became worse, though, as Reuben was having real difficulties finding a job, and those in the neighborhood would start calling them ungrateful and lousy for never going to their father's funeral. I'm not sure who is all behind it, but recently the house has only become more trashed as there's crap all over the yard now, and the first floor looks like it's about to explode too.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.